Hello and welcome to NHL Best Bets. Last night there were some Sunday night fever in hockey rinks. We had two picks. Nashville played in Chicago. It was a reasonably tight game, but visitor was this time better like they were a few nights ago, and end result there was 3-2. Chicago came to 2-2 tie in the third period, but then Nashville scored the winner just before the game ended. Other game we had Columbus at Detroit under. Game result was 4-1, 5 goals, so not in a numbers point of view very clear under, but from the game point of view it was these last two goals were empty netters by Detroit, and Columbus didn't show too much during the game that they could score more than single goal. Tommy, how you saw these games?
A little bit in the red, so of course disappointing in that way, but pretty much as we expected both of these games. Chicago inches closer to winning Nashville, so maybe next time they will. It was 1-3. First one now 2-3. So probably the next game will be the one that Chicago will manage to win then. But it was a good game from both teams, Nashville and Chicago. Like we've been repeating, they play similar way through the defense. This time Nashville was the team that managed to score 3 goals. Of course, we would have liked to see Kevin Lankinen play in the goal for Chicago. It was Malcolm Subban. Can't fault him in this loss, but could be better to use the better goaltender every time you can. So let's see if that will happen next time. But a good pick still would take again. Chicago is likely to beat Nashville at least once this season when they get to play at home. And in Detroit, exactly as the last time, under game. Not much to say there. Columbus really disappointing offensively. Nothing going on. I think there might be some coaching changes in the future because it doesn't seem that they're getting their act together. They're not playing as hard-working game as they have usually, and that's been their sort of a not so secret weapon. But now they're not even doing that. So when you're not capable of scoring goals, you have to be better in the defense. They are not. So losing to Detroit twice in a row is not a good sign. And Detroit, of course, happily taking these quite easy points this time, but a clear under, like you said, 2 goals in the empty net. The real score would have been 2-1, 3-1 in the maximum.
How do you see Nashville? They have been now winning a few games in a row. Are they coming back to the playoff contending games?
It definitely looks like that because it was Chicago who is there in the fourth spot, so they are fighting together from this last playoff place in their division. I do think Nashville is a bit better team. They were really disappointing in the early of the season, now getting a lot better. Their defense is intact, their goaltenders are getting better and better, so I do think it's going to be at least a fierce battle for the playoff spots. And Predators, never count them out. It's a team that can surprise any of these better teams.
How about our overall simulations? Recently we have been performing pretty well in totals, and now I think all the other games except Washington Rangers was under in the Sunday evening played, but Washington was also heading to under before in third period these guys started to realize that you can win by scoring goals, and there were I think 5 goals in 7 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it looked exactly like these early games sometimes do. That 2 first periods, teams are just waking up and just arrived in the place. So in the third period, then explosive game. We didn't have an over/under pick for that game because it was 6 was the line, and the simulations indicated exactly 6 goals. So would have been an easy over there to take. All the other games we had picks for 4. Of these 6 games, and all of them were correct once again for the totals. Of course, going under is, like we've been repeating, is the trend now, and it seems to hold at least for so far. So nice profit there from these games. No mistakes this time.
Tonight we have I think 7 games it looks like right now before any cancellations, but here we have 2 picks that we've set up. Here we go with Winnipeg in Calgary. We picked this game a few nights ago, and then it was correct. Winnipeg won it. Then last game Calgary won. It was a bit shaky performance by the Winnipeg goaltender, but now there should be Mr. Hellenbach between the pipes, so we expect Winnipeg to play better, and they have all tools to win this on the road again. And another game, LA Kings goes to Las Vegas. These teams have a good goaltending, and they haven't been any kind of explosive offenses at all. But understanding is that number 1 goaltenders will start, and especially Kings as a road team would play by the defense. So under 5.5 goals with minus 103 odds provide good value based on the simulations.
Yeah, very good selection of these 2 games. Let's go to Calgary first. Of course, their home games haven't been very good for the home team. Calgary not the best of home teams. Winnipeg played pretty well on the road as they have at home. I do think that Jets are a better team. They play very balanced hockey now. It's back and forth in this series. So Winnipeg won the first one, then Calgary won last time, and now I do think it is the time for Jets again to take the points. It will be a close matchup, but according to simulations, the visitors here are quite a lot better team. There is 52% chance of Winnipeg Jets taking the points, and when the odds are in the plus, this is a very good road underdog pick from us. And then the other game, under in Vegas, it's sometimes been a little bit of a bad pick for us, but we do think that now when Los Angeles Kings have realized that they do need to play through the defense, they cannot get into these scoring matches between these better teams, especially if Kings want to make the playoffs, which they still have the chance to do. They do need to play very solid defensively. And Vegas, on the other hand, even if they have good wingers, goal-scoring wingers, they usually don't score that many goals, and they don't need to because their defense is top-notch as well. So I do see this going for Vegas 3-2, maybe even 2-2, and overtime game. So not over 5.5 goals by any means. In simulations, 61% of the games go under. So a very good under selection here with nice odds as well.
Is there any other games that you think could be worth to bet? We have again Edmonton playing in Toronto, a game that we picked a few nights ago, and that was even game. Toronto won in overtime, but do you think Edmonton with very good odds is worth to bet?
I do think that Edmonton showed last time that they're capable of beating Toronto. Of course, second game, now they are in Toronto. I think Toronto will be a bit better than they were last time, but the simulations do have Edmonton with 47%, while the odds are around 39.9%. So very good odds for a road underdog, Edmonton Oilers. Almost as good team as Toronto, maybe a bit less balanced at this moment. It's interesting to see how the goaltending duo will play, if it's Mike Smith or Mikko Koskinen, and also for Toronto, if it's Jack Campbell or Frederik Andersen. That's not certain yet, but I do think that all these goaltenders are good when they are rested and they get to play. A little bit different situation if Mike Smith needs to play night after night. He's an older guy, maybe not as agile as he used to be. So if he starts, I think Toronto might have a better chance. If it's Mikko Koskinen's turn, maybe Edmonton will surprise.
Then we have a few of these big favorites in the West, Colorado against Anaheim, and also Minnesota in San Jose. Is there any value to bet these teams with low odds?
Yeah, there is some in Minnesota especially. It's not a lot of in percentages, but 62% according to the simulations go to Minnesota, while the odds are around 59%. So there is small value. I do think Minnesota is way better team than San Jose at the moment because, like we've seen, San Jose cannot be predicted. whoever shows up there, it's a question mark. So I do think Minnesota has small value there to win this game. And we've been riding Colorado all season long, from the bad efforts to the good performances. Now they've been playing pretty well, so I think they will win it. But the odds minus 300 something. We've seen that those are not usually the best picks, but the simulations do indicate value. We have 80% of the games going for Colorado. Of course, Anaheim is at the moment the worst team in their division, so understandably so. But there is a 8% value still for home team Colorado. If you're looking for very small odds, but with a great chance of happening, that's your pick.
Then Philadelphia Buffalo game. Buffalo, I think, have lost 14 or 15 games in a row, and Philadelphia haven't been any great team either. Which one do you think will provide great performance here and take points?
Yeah, this is a very, very scary game to predict. So let's keep it in a very coin flip kind of fashion, because like we've seen now, Philadelphia played pretty badly against New York Rangers. They've been slumping. Their defense and goaltending especially have been horrible. Buffalo, of course, I think you have 15 games losing streak, which is it's a horrible thing. Probably the first time since 2000 something, early 2000s, that a team has lost this many games. So we're not gonna bet for them. In simulations, Philadelphia is better for 72% of the time. So clearly favorites. The odds indicate almost the same. They are 65% favorites with odds of minus 210. So I would stay very far away from this game, because Buffalo does have to win at some point. They are still an NHL team. Philadelphia has been so shaky that no one knows what's going to happen. So there is value for Flyers, but I wouldn't bet on them.
So we'll concentrate early evening to the basketball, follow the Elite 8 games, and then later when Western teams are skating into ring, we switch to ice hockey.
Yeah, let's do that.
And we'll see tomorrow how both games went.